I am as well.
Okay, we're live.
Please rise. 34th District Court is now in session. Gamma, Tina Brooks Green presiding.
Have a seat. Your client?
We're good.
Yep, she can come up. People versus Tierra Malone.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Ben Dunn with P74280 for the people.
Good afternoon, Judge. Neighborhood Defender Service by Gleno, P83424, appearing on behalf of Ms. Tierra Malone for joining us in the courtroom.
And this is set for an exam today. Are you ready to proceed?
Judge, the people are ready to proceed. The first and only witness went to the restroom just briefly.
Okay, that's fine. I am going to have her sit, because of the live stream, I am going to have her sit in the jury box at that spot just so that it's more visible. That witness stand is terrible. So
Okay.
as soon as she gets back in. And on Neandra Hammond at 2 o'clock in just under 10 minutes, I'm going to issue a bench warrant for her arrest. I would note that I'll probably hold it for 48 hours just in case her or her attorney appear and or make an indication to us. We'll hold the bench warrant for 24 hours or for probably 48 hours. But I'll have the detective release your witnesses at 2 o'clock.
Sorry?
I said I'll have the detective go ahead and release your witnesses though at 2 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, may I ask a question on an unrelated matter?
Sure.
On the Neandra Hammond matter, she has private counsel, correct? Okay,
On Hammond,
yes.
it's
Previously assigned to.
Mr. Jones.
Okay,
Yeah, so I think he's retained. It's not NDS.
okay.
Are you like assigned out county or something?
No.
Oh,
Which
I
is
just haven't seen you.
And if you can come all the way up and you're gonna actually sit in that middle chair in the front in the jury box, just because we live stream this stuff. And so if you could go up there and then the camera isn't, the angle on the camera isn't great. Yep, if you go to that second chair and stop right there, could you raise your right hand? Solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll give in this matter will be the true self you got.
Yeah.
Have a seat. Go ahead.
Okay. What is your name, miss?
Dominique Mosley,
And how do you spell that?
DOMINIQUE, last name MOSLEY.
Thank you. Ms. Mosley, first of all, I'd just like to ask you to use your outdoor voice because you're talking through a mask. Okay, I want to take you back to August
And because,
24th.
and not that I mean to interrupt you, but because we are social distance, if you want to take the mask off, you can. You,
Okay.
you don't have to. It's your
Okay.
preference. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
I want to take you back to the date of August 24th, 2019. Do you remember that date?
Yes,
We were at a location of 8813 Parkwood Drive in Van Buren Township, Michigan. Is
yes,
that in Wayne County?
yes,
What is at that address?
my house where I live.
And on that date at your house, were other people present?
Yes,
Was there a specific reason or purpose that other people were present?
my sister was there. My sister came over for a barbecue. I had a barbecue at my house.
So approximately how many people came to the barbecue?
It was me, my sister, Tierra, her daughter, and my sister's kids.
Okay. So while you were going through that list, you said the name Tierra, and it looked like you were pointing at someone. Is that right?
Yeah.
Are you referring to someone in the courtroom?
Yes,
Do you know that person's last name?
Malone,
Okay. And what is Tierra Malone wearing today?
all black.
Can you tell us a little
Will you
something more that would
stipulate
help identify
For
her?
purposes
Yes,
of
Judge.
exam. You'll stipulate for purposes of exam of the defendant's identity.
Okay. Thank you very much. About what time did Miss Malone get to your house?
I think it was around like maybe 3 or 4 because I started late. I want to say 3 or 4.
All right. And did there come a time in the day when something notable that happened that brings you to court?
Yes.
About what time was that?
Probably around maybe like 5 o'clock or
Okay.
6.
And how did that start?
How did it start? First off, she had left and went to.
Let me just stop you.
Mhm.
Please don't use he or she because we don't know the
Okay, so you
sister,
want
the
me to
people
say
at the
her
party. Just use names.
Okay, so Tiara went to Walmart to go get some money. She said that her brother sent her through Western Union, and she came back, and I believe she put her gun on a refrigerator. I'm not sure. After that happened, we were drinking. Me, my sister. You want me to say my sister name?
Oh, sure.
Whitney Mosley and Tiara, we were all drinking and we were eating, laughing.
Objection, Judge, narrative.
Sustain,
Okay,
ask her
so-
questions or,
You have to just answer the questions I
Okay.
ask. So the question, I think was, how did this start? And she came back from Walmart or something?
Yeah.
Okay. What happens when she returns?
Okay, so she returned. She asked where was her money at.
And did you respond?
Yes.
What did you say?
I don't know where your money at.
Objection, Judge, hearsay.
Statement of a party opponent, Judge.
response.
Ms. Mosley is
You
not
want
party.
her, you're talking about her
Yes, Judge.
statement of what she said, not what Miss Mosley, or not what Miss Malone said.
Correct, Judge.
Just that she can't say what she said. Technically, it's hearsay for her to repeat whatever
Miss-
she said.
Miss Mosley can't repeat what the defendant said?
No,
What Ms. Mosley said in response to
Yeah,
Malone's
she's not-
questioning.
he's not
Oh.
objecting. He's objecting to her saying, I said.
Hearsay is an out-of-court statement made by someone other than the declarant. This is the declarant. She's telling you what she said, so it's not hearsay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm explaining to you what his objection is.
Sorry,
That's okay.
I'm
Go
deaf,
ahead.
Judge, just so you know.
I'll speak that.
Oh, that's fine. Yep, go ahead.
Okay, what happened next?
What happened next? When we were at my house later on that evening, I was washing dishes and she like came from behind me and put her arms around my waist and I felt uncomfortable.
And who
then
is she?
Tiara put her
Okay.
hands around my waist when I was washing my dishes.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like sexually like attentions coming on to me.
Objection,
From-
Judge, speculation.
Unless she specifically says what the activities were, just a general statement like that.
I guess my response would just be like, I feel like it's relevant because her perception, whether it's right or wrong, would be relevant to her response.
Judge, the objection wasn't relevant to the speculation. She can't know Ms. Malone's state of mind as she's doing those actions.
But I think his response is that she did something after that. You have to have her frame of mind of what she thought was happening. I'll overrule it for purposes of the exam. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I felt like she was coming on to me sexually. That's where I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
After that, my sister, I was telling my sister because she stayed with me because I didn't feel safe with her being in my house.
All right. And you can't tell us what your sister said or any of that, but what happened next between you
So
and Ms.
my
Malone?
sister left my home and Tiara and her daughter stayed the night over.
Okay.
So I slept in my son's bedroom and Tiara, I gave her my room to sleep in with her child. So she was on the phone having a conversation with somebody. Tiara was having a conversation with somebody on the phone. And I was in my son's room. She brought her baby in my son's room with me. And she slept in the room with me. And then she started yelling, saying she was hot. I believe that was the summer. Yeah, Tiara said she was hot and I had turned the air up or down. It was something like that. It's been a year. So she brought her baby in the room with me and her daughter slept in the room with me. So she came in there yelling. She put the light on her phone and was flashing in her baby face, and I told her to stop doing that. Why are you doing that? So she went back in my room. That's when she brought the gun in my son's room, and she started explaining high-low point bullets and how strong they are, and it's a bullet in the chamber for me, and she told me to lay down, and I
Okay,
felt threatening.
had you ever seen this gun before?
I believe I did because she came to my mother's house.
Are you familiar with guns?
No.
But you believe it was a real gun?
Yeah, it was a real gun.
What did you think when you saw her with the gun in your room?
What did I think? I felt threatening.
And what happened after she comes in the room with the gun?
She started explaining the high-low point bullets, how strong they were. She put the gun on my lap. The gun fell on the floor, and I jumped.
Okay. Did you say anything to her at this?
Yes, I told her to stop.
What
Stop
happened
playing. I said, stop playing.
What happened after the gun fell on the floor?
After the gun fell on the floor, I picked the gun up and I put it in my bedroom so she can leave my room. And then I called my mother and I told my mother, because she come over here and get her out the house. And that's when my mother arrived at my house. And that was at 3:00 in the morning to put her out. Well, she didn't put her out. She just left on her own.
Miss Malone left on her.
Yes, Tierra left on her own.
Where was the
When my
gun?
mother arrived.
Where was the gun at this point?
I don't know. It was in my room. Like after it dropped on the floor, I picked it up and put it in my room. And I don't know what she did after that. I don't know what Tierra did after that.
Okay. What specifically made you scared about the gun?
Because it was pointed towards me in a direction, and she asked me to look inside of the gun.
So when specifically was the gun pointed at you?
When she was sitting on my son's bed,
Pointed at what part of your body?
like this area.
And for the record, you're indicating your chest.
Yes.
What did you think was gonna happen?
I was afraid that the gun would go off because she said it was one left in the chamber. Tierra said it was one left in the chamber.
I don't have anything else.
Mr. O.
Yes, Judge. Good afternoon, Ms. Mosley.
Hi.
Ms. Malone is your cousin, correct?
Correct.
You two had first met at a family member's funeral the month prior to this barbecue.
Correct.
It was you invited Ms. Malone over to the barbecue, right?
Correct.
And you said there were the people present at the barbecue were you, your sister, two kids, Ms. Malone and her kid.
Yes.
And you also indicated that when Ms. Malone first got to the house, she put the gun on the fridge, right?
Yes.
That's because she didn't want the kids to see the gun, right?
I'm not sure. That's her gun. I don't own a gun.
Okay, and before the barbecue, the two of you and Miss Malone made arrangements for Miss Malone to spend the night, correct?
Yes, I said her and her baby could stay over. Yeah.
Okay, and at what time is the barbecue wrapping up?
It was around like maybe 10. It was really late, so it was around like 10.
Okay, so everybody's getting ready for bed around 10 p.m.?
Yeah.
And just to speak about the layout of the house, there are 2 bedrooms upstairs, correct?
Correct.
You said you were gonna sleep in your son's room,
I slept in my son's room,
and Miss Malone and her daughter were gonna sleep in
my room.
the other room, your room. And Miss Malone comes into the room that you're sleeping in.
Correct.
She also brings her daughter into your room, correct? And at that point, when she enters your room with her daughter, she has her gun with her?
No.
At what point do you see Miss Malone with a gun?
When she entered the room.
Okay, and you testified that Miss Malone made some statements about there being 1 in the chamber and 10 in the clip.
Yes.
She didn't have her finger on the trigger at any point, did she?
It was dark in the room.
Okay. Could you tell if the gun was in its case?
No, it wasn't a case.
Do you know if the safety of the gun was on?
I don't know where the safety is on the gun.
Okay. And Miss Malone never hit you, correct?
No.
She didn't threaten you?
Of course she did, as she pointed a gun at me and told me it was a gun in a clip chamber. That's a threat to me.
Okay. Before this incident ever took place, have you and Miss Malone ever fought before?
No,
Argued before?
No.
So you didn't have any conflict before this?
that was my first time being around her. I don't know her personally.
Okay. And how long after this incident did you call the police?
I think it was a week after. I'm not sure. It's going on 2 years.
Okay.
I think it was a week after the incident or that same week. I'm not sure.
1 second, Judge. Okay, couple more questions, Judge.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said you waited a week until after this event took place to call the police. Why'd you wait a week?
I'm not sure if I waited a week or the same week.
Okay, but definitely not the day after?
No, I don't remember. It's almost 2 years. Why does it matter if I waited a week or not? I was threatening. Are you saying someone?
Well, you're not allowed to ask
Oh, okay.
questions.
No further questions, Judge.
Anything else from the prosecution?
Do you remember giving a statement to the police? Do you think looking at your statement would refresh your recollection as to the date you talked to the police?
Judge Rollins?
Yeah, it's not relevant. For purposes of exam, it's not relevant.
Okay,
Do you have a
no more
motion?
redirect.
Motion? You have a
The
motion.
people have no further witnesses.
Yeah, and you have a motion.
No
Oh,
witnesses.
motion to bind over.
Thank you. Argument.
Yes, Judge. Very quickly. In order to bind Ms. Malone over on the count of, should we
Can
wait
you-
for the complaining witness?
You've technically got a.
Oh,
wait
you,
in the hall.
yeah, you can step down and you're free to go.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. O.
Yes, Judge. In order to bind over Ms. Malone on the count of felonious assault and people proved by a probable cause standard, the only element that we're going to contest is that second element, that Ms. Malone intended to injure the complaining witness or make the complaining witness reasonably fear an immediate battery. I think the testimony here is clear that Ms. Malone did not have any intention of using the gun. She may have made some ambiguous statements about there being ammunition in the chamber, but
I think, Mr. O, it's an issue of fact. If you take a gun and point it at somebody, that's an issue of fact on whether you're intending and what your intentions are. I'm going to bind the defendant over. The arraignment on the information will take place 2 weeks from today, April the 14th at 9 a.m., and I'll continue the bond.
Thank you.
see you, man.